It's as easy as sub-targeting that engine and just delivering like an amount of damage, and boom, the ship is dead. So
Egg has been planted.
So yeah, I'm back in LA. Everything's the same, kind of weird, kind of different. I don't have my studio anymore. I'm pretty sure they turned it into an Airbnb. There was a family of 4 in there when I looked.
okay.
But yeah, ISC. Normally, we'd be on hiatus right now. It's October. But since everyone is focused on CitizenCon right now, nobody's really paying attention to what we're doing over here. I think we can actually squeeze a sprint report into things, if that'd be the sort of thing you're kind of interested in. Now, if you've forgotten what...
I don't think we had any sprint reports, right? Recently, it's a thing that we haven't seen in a while, right?
a sprint report is, that's a bit different than a normal ISC. We don't do developer interviews. We don't, the ISC gameplay capture team doesn't create any footage. We literally, and when I say we, I mean me, we dig into the development review folders that are, internal, that are just meant to kind of update everybody internally on where they are on something, and we pull those and present them to you. Yeah. With me telling you, giving you a little context about what you're looking at. It's not in 4K. It's
4K,
not
okay.
professionally created. Nobody, when they made this stuff, thought it would ever be seen publicly. But it's as true and as honest and as behind the scenes an update as we ever do. So yeah, without further ado, let's do Sprint Report, pre-CitizenCon edition, the stuff we can talk about that isn't going to spoil the big events.
They're holding a lot of stuff for CitizenCon,
so let's start
obviously.
things off with a look at continuing work on the ship trespass system.
Ooh.
Now, ship trespass is the seemingly simple system that will dramatically affect PvP in the verse by correctly determining and...
That is really nice to see, because that, it was almost there. They almost released it, and then they decided not to because they felt it wasn't ready and it's going to be abused, right? It's good they're progressing on that, okay?
Setting hostility for uninvited guests. What you're seeing here is one player boarding a ship that is not their own. And, of course,
I wonder if this warning would be instant, like it is right now, or if the server is, what could be a problem if the server is slow and the FPS is low and all that. The moment of the server understanding you're trespassing may be delayed by I don't know, 30 seconds or something. That is curious. But I cannot wait for this. This is a very important detail to player hostility, interactions, and relationship.
Receiving a warning indicating they're unlawfully entering the ship. This makes them hostile, as well as fair game for anyone else on board to attack without gaining a crime stat of their own. While the intruder will be crime statted the very moment hostilities break out. Go where you're not supposed to be and risk the consequences.
And yes, this also accounts for you as the ship owner following the intruder back to their ship, where you'll be able to hunt them without fear of getting a crime stat yourself.
Oh,
and you also
wait. So whenever you trespass, you get a timer. Is that how it works, or is it you get a timer if you do any aggressive act? I think it's if you do any aggressive act, if you shoot someone or something, then you get a timer, and then the owner of the ship can hunt them down in their own ship and not get a crime stat. I guess that's how it is. Because just simply stepping into a ship would be kind of too much, to get a timer.
Notice that the ship owner gets no notification at all. For intruders, your presence is no longer spoiled by automatically joining a comms channel.
This is really good. This is really good. Nice, finally. So whenever you do the boarding, if the owner is not aware, the owner is not aware. They don't have a pop-up that someone joined their channel. That is really good. I mean, for traders, it's probably not so good. They have to do something with the hull seas for sure, because we discussed that. The back door, and how you can stand there and how you can easily breach it and then just go on and kill people. It's crazy. But overall, it's good they are removing those pop-up. I can see a lot of problems with that, especially with certain ships, but yeah.
If this test doesn't see you, they won't have any indication you're there. At least until scanners and some such come into play later down the line.
until scanner come into play. But I wonder if will they remove only the top screen pop-up, or you also will not be visible anymore at the comm list in the ship channel.
And as you can see, ship trespass also extends to vehicles and ships as well. So don't go docking somewhere without asking for permission first.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the EU Landing Zone 2 team is continuing their work on extending the new player experience to New Babbage with some new navigational signage you can see here. A lot of news there.
It was always weird that the new player experience was only a thing in Area 18, but on the other hand, they have to start and test somewhere, right? So they selected Area 18 and they did the new player's guide in Area 18, it's fine. With all the signage, what I would really appreciate if CAG would, instead of like putting time into making like cities better, they would actually make the station navigation better, because there are only 4 cities. And you can somewhat, with a little bit of time and practice, easily remember those cities. You don't need like, yes, for a new player, it's good, but overall, on average, you don't need that much of like, you know, brain capacity to go through 4 cities we have, because you just remember them with time. On the other hand, the stations are a pain in the ass because there are many of them and they all look the same, but they're all different. And they have almost zero guidance how to reach to a certain part of the station you need to.
As well as adding a few new shops along the critical path to facilitate a better first experience for players, like this Kelto you can see here.
Oh no.
Kelto!
Board gamer or Newbie Who was that?
I blame Board Gamer for this.
Yeah.
And the EU PU team has made some changes to beams, tractor, and salvage alike that will now allow for independent operation on vehicles like the Vulture you see here.
Okay, that's the new interface we already seen from the sneak peek or whatever that was. Finally, we're getting some outlines here, and the interface for not only hull scraping, but munching, like structural salvaging.
Users to mix and match tractor and salvage beams for simultaneous yet independent control via dual sticks or gamepad, and provide for more dynamic use cases as resource gathering systems continue to develop.
Okay, but this is simultaneous. Wait, is he drawing a square penis? Oh no.
Not you too, Dev.
Oh. I kind of don't understand why you need that just for the sake of having it there, I guess. Because I don't see like this specific articulation where you lock an arm in a certain position and then you articulate another arm somewhere and like independently use, let's say, joystick to manipulate both arms. With the current hull scraping mechanics, I don't really see how any of that would be like a benefit that would make you earn, let's say, more AUC per hour, besides it being like immersive, you know? Yeah, you're right. But I don't see like look, on the left, there is like one hull scraper and then one placeholder that looks like a claw picking up a block. I thought that was the module for cutting parts. But if it is a tractor beam, I see where you're going there. You might hold a part and rotate it and use the other hand. Yeah, I don't think it will actually make it faster, just probably more immersive. I think you could as well just quickly rotate it with both and then start scraping again. Unless there is something we don't understand right now, because they don't really talk much about it. Unless we don't understand something, this feels like a bit of a useless thing that no one will ever use. It's like right now we have this ability to set the distance between the beams. Almost no one uses this. That like the benefits of that will be such a miserable percent that of doing something faster that no one bothers even doing that. I don't know if like investing time into that is a good idea. Though again, we might not know something, so I don't want to, you know, go negative on that. We'll see how it will end up. Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi. They asked if they could make an espresso for us. That was nice.
Oh, yes.
And since many of you are looking forward to... I didn't think they were going to do it right there. And since many of you are looking forward to further iteration on bounty hunting,
let's keep our tour of potential gameplay changes to ships going with the Anvil Hawk. Now, one of our team members on the EU vehicle
That is definitely not a seat anymore. So my guess is they just decided like putting a body into the seat is gonna get too complicated for them.
Content team recently completed a first pass sprint revisiting the Hawk to explore a potential new methodology for loading and unloading what I'm just going to affectionately call the wanted fugitive and stasis cargo containers, or WIF for short.
Okay, that's the box that they showed us before. Okay, so they're basically from all, you know, all the immersion there now. It's what I've been saying for a long time. Now all your dreams are gonna get crushed when you had like all that immersion, and now CAG will start cutting corners and understanding what is actually realistic, and they will cut down like all of your dreams, how it would look like. They will standardize things into boxes and all that kind of stuff, right?
The idea being that once you've captured and contained your prey in the with and set it down behind the ship, this articulating arm would then come out and, using the power of electromagnetism, suck the into its grasp and pull it up inside the vehicle.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that is a negative. Like, I just know a lot of people will probably not really like it because they were dreaming how they would like put it like prisoner there. There's a lot of examples recently in Star Citizen development where they started like being more realistic to how a game should operate, so it doesn't take another 20 years, just 10 years, right, to create. So it's you know, it's whatever.
Yeah, all this.
Yeah, I feel bad you cannot log out.
Looks pretty good.
All right, so it should be noted that the wanted fugitive and stasis cargo container is something I made up about 55 seconds ago, and has not been vetted or approved by any member of development staff. But I feel good about my chances.
So let's go ahead and stick with vehicles for a bit and
look
look
at
the
Freelancer.
old tried and true
Ooh, Freelancer getting components. Nice.
Freelancer, which is getting some work done to fit all of its necessary item components in ahead of the resource management system coming down the road. Meanwhile, Elwin and our North America vehicle content team have recently completed a first pass sprint bringing the Origin X1 to life, which you can see here is undergoing just a few minor changes from its concept, necessitated by continuing development of the vehicle component and resource management systems.
I never liked that.
Now, while this is still a white box, that hasn't stopped the team from also visualizing some baked-in lighting improvements, and overall, even with the subtle shape changes, the X1 is looking fantastic in its white box form and will only continue to look even better as it progresses further down the pipeline towards release. We've also got a brief look inside the white box progress of the RSI Apollo Medevac, which is currently in production.
I cannot wait for Apollo. It should be a nice ship. It looks badass. Like it's hard to believe this is even a mad ship, right? It looks really badass. Yeah, it's way bigger. I'm like looking at this and like, wow. For me, like Apollo is the size of a Mantis. Maybe a bit bigger, right? Because it looks similar to Mantis. And here you look at this and there are like corridors here, bro. It's crazy. Yeah, it's like a mini galaxy. It's like, for me, like Apollo in my head is just like the size of a Mantis, right? It's insane. This is actually so big. Holy crap.
And I still think the Apollo exterior looks too damn cool to be a space ambulance. John, Ben,
it's a Mantis DS, guys.
I'm gonna need a fighter or a smuggler variant of the Apollo. And no, if you're thinking that's a hint or anything, it's not. It's just me abusing my platform and position to make a personal request. Let's talk about the Santokyai. We haven't talked about the Santokyai.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
You can see here the alien material work continues to iterate
We've
as
seen
members
that
of the
somewhere
NAVC
already.
continue to develop the resources
This
our
shot
Xi'an friends would
specifically.
likely use to build their ships from.
Because I remember even those scratches on the edge, and they definitely show
Continue
that.
to develop the resources our Xi'an friends would likely use to build their ships
I like the
from.
materials. They
Through
look
the
cool.
use of a variety of...
Though I gotta point out, those materials never look like this in game. Those materials will look like this in a very specific staged lighting, but I still do like them.
material maps, They're hoping to land on what's essentially an alien version of carbon fiber, which should add lots of nice detail to the exterior and then add a pearlescent finish that'll really make it shine in the light.
I don't think that ever looks like this in game, but it's still cool to imagine, you know. Nice, good job. 2 balls. Oh, that's for the that's for players with big balls.
We've also got a quick look at the back of the wings.
Yeah, the details are really good. Like there is nothing you can say. They make the ships look cool.
And then let's take a look at the cockpit, which you might remember from our alien.
Wow, those two balls are just like levitating there. That's like
In week update has been a bit of a challenge to get right.
we get now the meaning to drop your balls to a whole new level. The balls look good, yeah. The balls look good, I agree. Don't drop the balls.
Wanting, of course, to give it that alien uniqueness while still being usable by the hands of humans and Zero State alike.
Zero State alike, oh no. Oh no.
And while we're talking about the Santokyai, did you know that we have an entire team dedicated to branding over in the Montreal studio?
That ship look gorgeous. Like, I don't know, will it look the same cool in the verse, but I always admired that. I did like Car2All, but I always admired Santokyai. I wonder, like, if my opinion will change. Like, it might be the feeling, like, just because you want to have it, but you don't have it, you're getting, like, excited about it. But the moment you get it, you get tired of it, like, pretty fast, and it just becomes like yet another single-seater. And I'm not even talking right now about the balance, like, will it be good in combat or bad in combat? It's overall, my thing was single-seaters. Like, they just become like too boring too fast for me. Usually, like, the only single-seaters I kind of am excited to always fly is Inferno and Iron. I just love the looks, but you have to have an occasion to do that, like actual occasion to do that. So, but I wonder how it will go with the ship whenever it's released. Will it become my next yet another ship that is in a hangar I almost never use, or will I enjoy actually flying it? Like, my problem is, obviously, if it has no utility for piracy, I will probably not main it, never, because, like, I need, like, QEDs, I need something, right? But I still wonder. It's really cool looking. We are yet to see how it will work out.
Touched on it, but Nick Forden and his team over there are dedicated to developing the individual visual identities of Star Citizen's several hundred internal persistent universe
Yeah, let's look at that.
visual
Makes sense. It's interesting that Drake is commercial and industrial. I thought Drake would have a bit of a... Yeah, nah, Drake isn't combat look, right? Yeah. It only is combat looking when you consider like retro low-tech being a combat thing, but that's like close to industrial. A MISC is a high design? It is. It's just commercial high design, right? And it's like very low into high design, right? It's like almost on the verge of industrial. Like, compare MISC to Drake and this logic makes sense, right? I think CG has to finally come up with a logic. As I always say, there are two types of ships. Type number 1, embedded engines into the hull, usually at the back of the ship. Type number 2, outstanding exterior engines not embedded into the hull, usually not at the back of the ship. Cutlass, Buccaneer, whatever. A lot of Drake ships, anything else that has like engines on the sides whatsoever. Those are two like major design logics that are completely different and should be balanced differently. The thing is, whenever you create an embedded engine at the back of the ship, it is protected to like 99%. First of all, because it's embedded, because obviously no one at CG thinks of like a thrust potential, how big the nozzle should be for that amount of the thrust they're trying to give the ship. No one cares there. Like, their ships are full on like copium, handwavium, whatever, plebium in that regard. They just add values to whatever engine. So usually, because those are like interceptors, light fighters and all that, and the engine's not at the back, and they have to be embedded into the hull of the ship, they're usually small. On top of the fact that you never see that engine when you fight that ship because it's on the back. Even if you get on the back of that ship, maybe it's like a squadron fight, right? And you theoretically can get on the back of that ship, which is questionable even in a squadron fight because like ships rotate so much, there is no real chance you will get like in the chase fight with that ship unless it's a super thick atmo and someone is just running away from you in a straight line. That engine is so small that the chances you're going to deliver damage specifically to that engine are miserable. Like Gladius is a great example, right? And then you have the ships like Buccaneer and like this one where engines are outside. They're easily targetable. It's easy to get rid of them. So at that point, what happens is CAG don't really think about taking that logic in mind, and they never buff those engines. Unless they will actually start utilizing that logic embedded back versus exterior side engines, unless they start implementing that logic initially when they build up ships and when they give them initial like HP values to modules, it will always fall apart. Like the entire gameplay around the ships would always fall apart, and like it's gonna be bad, right? It's as easy as sub-targeting that engine and just delivering like an amount of damage and boom, the ship is dead. So they literally have to give those engines and like every part there that is possible to get easily hit, they will have to give an equal amount of HP that they want the ship to live. If they give, let's say, a hull HP 10,000 HP or 5,000 HP, every single of those engines have to have that HP. Okay, maybe like 25% less. You know what I mean? Because if they don't, the ship lives as long as that engine. And everyone will know it. Like, they're huge. So whenever a person faces this ship, they will just sub-target an engine. They will just first shoot the center to get the shields down. And the moment the shields are off, they will sub-target the engine and boom, engine is gone. So CAG just has to like finally come up with this logic and understanding. There are two major ways they do the ships in regard to engines at least. And every time they create a new ship, okay, this is an external engine ship. We are buffing its HP like insanely, right? And until they start doing that, like they will have to revisit the ships, they will have to spend more time adjusting the values. You could see that happen to Corsair, you could see that happen to a Cuddy. They haven't yet fixed Cuddy Blue, they fixed only Cuddy Black. The Mantis is still pretty bad. Yada, 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 yada.
But Nick Forden and his team over there are dedicated to developing the individual visual identities of Star Citizen's several hundred internal persistent universe brands, including this look at the brand document of Apoa, maker of the Santokyai we just looked at. Really tied that together. Now, some folks might write branding off as simply marketing, but the work of this team has been essential to recent improvements to Hurston and Area 18 and New Babbage you just saw, allowing artists and designers alike to create consistent and immersive identities for each location. And as this work extends to nearly every aspect of the verse, it'll continue to help define and refine all visual elements you'll encounter as citizens making your way through Stanton, Pyro, and beyond.
Okay. The craft of excellence. Oa.
I'm gonna need like a... Yeah? Yeah? Right now? All right, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
All right, so I gotta go do this thing, but Chad is right here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let Chad explain this new improvement that's coming to the cargo system in Alpha 321. Take it away, Chad.
Blockage. Nice.
Yeah, so I was doing some work for the tractor beam attachment with new larger boxes in the game. They are often these longer on one size sized boxes. And because of how they can fit together in the ship, across each other in all these kind of complicated ways, sometimes placing them in the ships is a bit tricky, and it can be a little finicky to get it just right, especially in tight corridors with larger boxes. And so I was adding some new functionality into the system so that whenever you're placing them around, if the direct placement underneath the attachment doesn't work, there's some fallback logic that'll look nearby where the placement is to try to find a good placement for the box, so that it makes it essentially more forgiving whenever you're using the tractor beam. In the ships with these larger boxes, you can place it such that maybe it's just a little bit off the thing that would work. And instead of just not giving you anything as far as like placing it, it'll give you another fallback option. And all that really means is that it is a little bit easier and quicker and more intuitive just to drag things around in the ships and get things together.
That's a good quality of life. Now I just wish they would rework the caterpillars grid. That would be fantastic.
Just a little bit. This is going to be a life changer, dude.
Not a life changer. If you kind of know what you're doing, it's not a life changer, but I would say this is a nice quality of life. A good one.
Yeah, this is like this is what killed me on, I mean, just this whole.
I want a tractor beam toggle so we can turn off the grid. Yeah, that would be not a bad idea. When you move the boxes, sometimes you don't want it to snap for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. Just let us have it. Yeah, I agree. That's actually a good call. I agree, Zarek. Yeah.
Packing system and the tractor beam stuff. This is like I nearly died on the Hull C getting it in because it is incredibly sophisticated code for this stuff. It's like I literally read a PhD thesis on packing algorithms.
Cargo PhD.
Implemented, which is really fun. It's just the time scale that suddenly I had to operate under because of circumstances out of my control.
Our citizen cargo PhD.
Intense, but it is very cool. Like the stuff that I was doing it. So I'm excited about it.
And we're hopeful this goes into 321.
This functionality, yeah.
Nice, good to hear.
So yeah, that's a Sprint report. Hope you liked it. I'm going to disappear now. We'll be back in about 2 weeks for CitizenCon, then a 2-day event on October 21st and 22nd, emanating from the Los Angeles Convention Center. Until then, be sure you check out Alpha 321, which is currently on the PTU, available for testing. I haven't seen a whole lot of it because I've been traveling, but there are a lot of people really jumping at the chance to point out some new things that weren't in the patch notes.
Come on, Jared. Yeah.
For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you. And we'll see you in about 2 weeks in CitizenCon.
Thank you, Jared. I like this phrase of thanks for giving us an opportunity to share the development process. I like it. It's respectful towards like subscribers and all that. I kind of like it.